Good afternoon, members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Mattei Jr. I'm a formerly incarcerated advocate, consultant, researcher, as well as a smart justice leader with the ACLU. I was incarcerated in this state from 2002 to 2022. I spent the last year as a researcher for a nonprofit organization doing higher education and prison work. And during a conversation with one of our executive directors, he said to me, from the things he learned about Connecticut, is that the way they treat their incarcerated population, it seems like they're a red state disguised as a blue state. And then when I went to Atlanta to another higher education and prison conference, and I was asked about my work with the Commission for the Future of Higher Education and Prison for New England, I was asked, was it New England or New England and Connecticut? This is the sentiment that that is projected by our politics. And here we go, we're at it again. I'm here to talk about a couple bills, but first, Senate Bill 362, an act concerning fines for certain disciplinary actions in correctional facilities and the deposit of such fines into the fund for the benefit of all persons who are incarcerated. This is yet another way for this legislature to step in and impose another oppressive policy upon one particular demographic without consulting them to ascertain the possible disparities. It is a way for the DOC to avoid their responsibility to rehabilitate their population and instead tax those that they deem the most problematic. The Prison Policy Initiative just released last month a study on fines and the other costs, the excessive costs in prison and the hardships that it has on Black and brown families. And what they found is that these fines don't even make the prison safer. What they do is create a more predatory environment. And they also found that there were states like New Mexico and a couple others that started with policies like this, then turned around and started fining people for suicide attempts, finding people for the hospital trips. So where is this gonna start? There were a few things said today and a few questions asked that I definitely have the answers to due to my experience. So when asked about does the DOC have a way to take money from our accounts? Yes, they do. There are already fines. If you break something that is state property and you purposely break it, like I know someone who was doing pull-ups off their cell light, they had to pay for it. So there are already fines in that way. But there's too many moving parts to this. When we look at the so-called problematic people in prison, the behavior problems, I've had several sensitive jobs that allowed me a lot of movement in the prison. And I've been able to mentor and talk to people. And I found that a lot of the times mental health is the biggest issue. So let me just close with this. I hope there are questions, but if we don't find a way to give the officers the social tools that they need to deal with the population that they're overseeing, then this will not work. Because at the end of the day, if I'm out to do something drastic, I don't care about a $50 or $25 fine. I don't care about what happens to the rest of the population. So what are we doing here?
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments? Seeing none, appreciate being with us.
I knew it.